and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Who's ready to have some fun on a glorious Thursday morning right here on the Sports Grid Network? This is the Early Line. I'm Donnie Rightside, and he is Joe Ranieri. And over the next 2 hours, we got you covered, people. We'll let you know exactly what happened last night. And also, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a big weekend upcoming in sports, which does include a Thursday night football game between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans a little bit later tonight. Crazy action in the NBA, which saw you people, I'm talking to you people, going 2-0 yesterday, because why? Joe and I on our bye-bye bets swept the board. The Miami Heat easily covered their number with massive CLV. And also, the Toronto Raptors went into Philadelphia and picked up a victory. And I faded my favorite team, the Philadelphia 76ers. We don't play favorites here. We just play winners, and we're ready to go, Joe. The energy is high. Let's get after it.
That's what it's all about. Don't play teams, play numbers, nope. Donnie. That's what we say. And now, by the way, the number, I think, T-minus what? 7 days and counting till Turkey Day? A lot to get to.
Oh, my goodness. I love it. Turkey Day on the horizon. Football, family, friends, cocktails, cigars, you name it. But before we get there to Thursday, it's time to get caffeinated on the hottest topic of the day, Joe. Let us know.
All right, Donnie. So today we need to talk about the absolute farce and joke that is the NBA scheduling and their so-called concern for the fans. Now, yesterday we learned that the Cleveland Cavaliers got slapped with a $100,000 fine for resting Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley last week against the Miami Heat. Why? Well, because apparently the NBA has a player participation policy that says you can't sit multiple healthy stars in any big games, or any game for that matter. And the league wants you to believe that they're the good guys here. They want you to think they're protecting you, the fan, who pays $300, $400 for a ticket to see your favorite player. Don't buy it for a second, folks. You want to talk about don't spit in my face and tell me it's raining? Well, the NBA is talking out of both sides of its mouth. On one hand, they fine teams for resting guys. On the other hand, they create a schedule that is physically impossible to navigate without getting hurt, and I don't care who you are. Steve Kerr said it best yesterday when he also sat a few guys playing the Miami Heat last night. The Warriors heading into that game were playing 17 games in 29 days in 13 different cities. That is pure insanity, and it's a recipe for pure disaster. And what happens when you push athletes like that? I don't care how great they are, Donnie. They will eventually break. Look around the league. Giannis is out, groin injury. Ja Morant out. Victor Wembanyama out. Anthony Davis out. Zion Williams out. Tatum out. The list of injured stars is growing by the day, and we are barely a month into the season. And they're dropping like flies already. And yet the league wants to fine teams for trying to prevent that. Now, we are told constantly that today's athletes are bigger, faster, stronger, and have better science than ever before. So why the hell are they always hurt? Why did Michael Jordan play 82 games 9 times in his career, including at the age of 39? And why did Kobe Bryant play through every broken bone in his body? Why? Well, because the schedule wasn't designed by algorithms to maximize TV revenue at the expense of the human body. And because the players, Donnie, as much as I hate to say it, well, they had a pride that seems to be missing with today's athletes. The NBA doesn't care about player health. They don't care about you spending your hard-earned money to see their stars. They care about the TV contract. They care about jamming as many games as possible into the calendar to make as much money as possible. And until they fix the schedule, these fines are just a PR stunt, Donnie. It's all smoke and mirrors, folks. Do not let the NBA fool you to think that you actually matter.
And it's such a good point that you bring up, and I always harp on this. The NBA owners, same as the NFL owners, it's only about dollars and cents and greed at this point. You say, well, what does that mean? You have an arena that you own. You set the schedule for that arena. If every NBA owner had their own arena and said, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. No back-to-backs. We're going to play a minimum 2 games per week here, stretch the season out. The players would play. But you know what happens now, Joe? We got to go back-to-back with the Warriors. Why? Because Dua Lipa has the arena for the 4 nights that we're supposed to have games. So we're going to squeeze a back-to-back in here to make sure that we can sell at our arena. 365 nights in a year. Let's make sure the arena is used every single night, even at the detriment of our own basketball team. Why? Because we'll get more revenue from that concert than we might get from the actual game itself that's played there. Push it back, push it up. That hurts us here. 82 games is way too much. It's never going to change at this point, and we're only going to get more upset about it when your favorite stars come to town. And case in point, Joe, Golden State Warriors on the road. South Florida doesn't get to see Steph Curry all that much. Oh, back-to-back. Yeah, he's going to sit. Thanks for coming. Thanks for paying your ticket prices in March when you thought Steph was actually coming to town. Who would think that a father has to look at the schedule for his son and go, Dad, I want to go to Golden State. He goes, it's a back-to-back, son. We're not going to that game. You can't see your favorite player. It's a new world we all live in. It's just the way we get down. Let's get to that early lineup, Joe, and speed through some topics. Lamar Jackson, how many more leg injuries can you have? Can it be a groin? Can it be a hamstring? Can it be a quad? Can it be a knee? Can it be a calf? Can it be an ankle? He's on the report again.
Donnie, we've said this now ever since he came back, right? He was supposed to come back, then he didn't come back. Then the Ravens were fined for messing around with the injury report. Then he comes back, and yes, they beat Miami, but none of what we have seen from Lamar made me think, Donnie, that, oh, yeah, he's 100%. It's vintage Lamar. We've always worried that maybe, just maybe, they're running him back because the season's on the line. He might not be 100% and may not for the rest of the season, Donnie. None of this shocks me with him.
No, it certainly does. And getting banged up, and as we like to say, once you get injured, you usually stay injured at that point. You're just trying to fight through the bumps and the bruises on a week-to-week basis. Lamar will start at quarterback. How effective can he be? Michael Penix Jr. ain't starting again this year. ACL injury, going for a repair. Not a full ACL tear, so I don't understand how this works, but he'll be down some time. Neil Elitrash doing the surgery there for the ACL.
You listen, and just like that, Donnie, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback room is once again in absolute turmoil here. What are you going to do now? Because this isn't his first, Donnie. This is like his 4th, and it's not going to get any better the longer he plays in the NFL.
Oh, wait, you have a young quarterback waiting in the wings, though. It's Kirk Cousins. Oops, doing this little bit role reversal right now. Not a good sign for the Atlanta Falcons. Shedeur Sanders, he's getting his first start in Las Vegas this weekend, taking first reps with the first team here, and away Shedeur goes. They're an underdog, by the way, to the Raiders.
Okay. All right. I don't know but there are a certain contingency of people here, Donnie, who think They're going to suddenly Shador's going to flip this switch, and because he's starting, he's going to show you he's a franchise quarterback in the NFL. Let's just wait till the Monday show, Donnie, and see how well he does.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, let's see how healthy the New Orleans Saints are, because instead of staying home in the Dome, let's go to Paris and play a football game. We'll make more money. Players be damned, Joe.
Yeah, well, grow the game, Donnie. Grow the game, because if it's the one thing people in France want is to see the New Orleans Saints. So congratulations. It is a fun trip, though, in the middle of the season, so kudos to them.
Make me commissioner, Joe, which includes Major League Baseball. I like Rob Manfred, but, I don't like streaming services. I don't want to say I want to watch this game. Oh, yeah, I can't watch it on MLB.TV. I got to watch it on Netflix. I got to watch it on Peacock. Can we just stop with the money grabs here at this point, Joe? Just put it on where everybody can watch. It makes sense, doesn't it? Isn't that the best way to get revenue?
Well, soon, Donnie, the only place people will have to watch it is one of those 19 streaming networks, because that'll be the only place you can watch it.
Cristiano Ronaldo in the U.S. and hanging out with the president there. How about that? Now, some people are saying he's getting in good with Trump, so when the World Cup comes here, they can lean on the referees and he can have a smooth sailing, maybe cup victory. Hearing that.
I appreciate the hustle, Donnie. Anything to get an edge. I don't blame Ronaldo at all. I mean, what is he, like 60 at this point? My goodness.
Saying, how about this? Who else is 60? Roger Federer gets inducted there into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. How about that, Roger? He's in, Joe. Huh?
What took so long?
I don't know. Who knows? Tennis? Who knows what they're doing right now? Spreadlines are up next on a Thursday. We'll be right back.
And Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be, even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carden Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
It's the 20th of November, and as Joe Ranieri pointed out already, we're 1 week away from Turkey Day. 3 NFL football games, turkey, family, friends, and away we go. And then a Black Friday game between my Philadelphia Eagles and the upstart Chicago Bears. What a week it is next week. But before we get there, we got to let you know about the spread lines that are out in the marketplace. What do we take? Headlines and spreads, and determine why you should be focused on certain football games, basketball games, hockey games, or any sports across the landscape, which includes tonight. 7:30 kickoff. That's between Louisiana and Arkansas State. This line opened up right around that 2.5 price. Not a lot of changes in the marketplace. We see the total, 54.5 at the opening numbers. A little bit lower right now live at 53.5. Louisiana, Arkansas State. Football tonight, Joe. What's your spread line here?
Oh, Donnie, I had to point this game out because this line makes absolutely no sense. Now, we know that the public doesn't get overly involved in these midweek games, right? You know, the Wednesday to Tuesday, the Wednesday to Thursday night game. There's not a lot of public money. There's not a lot of big handle at the sports book. And this is case in point because if the public understood what was going on in this game, they would clearly be favoring Arkansas State here. Now, let me explain to you what's happening. The line on this game would be reasonable, Donnie, if, in fact, Louisiana Lafayette didn't have not one, not two, not 7 players suspended for this game for fighting, and 4 of the top 6 defensive backs that they have, including the one All-American quarterback, Cortland Flowers, their best DB, won't be here for this game. And yet this line continues to sit at Arkansas State at -2.5. Make it make sense, Donnie. Louisiana Lafayette will be playing very shorthanded on that side of the ball come tonight, Donnie.
How about USC and Oregon Saturday, 3:30 kickoff? A big game in the Big Ten as USC travels to Oregon. This line opened up around a touchdown favorite, Joe, but now we're creeping closer to 10s in the marketplace in a 59.5 total. Seems to me, Joe, it's one of those eliminator games that we're going to have. 6-1 in conference play, USC. 6-1 in conference play, Oregon Ducks. The loser just might be out of the picture altogether in the Big Ten and also in the playoff race. What's your spread line for this one?
Well, we wanted to keep an eye on this one. We mentioned it on Monday, and we wanted to see where the line would go by the time we got a little bit later in the week. And you're right, Donnie. I mean, we saw this thing open up 9.5, 58.5. We did see initial Oregon money push this thing up to double digits, but funny thing happened yesterday, Donnie. I am seeing all the tickets and majority of the money on Oregon. And yet I've seen this line go back to where we started at 9.5. So there is a line in the sand here with this number in double digits. It appears the more influential bettors are taking the points. Anytime you get the 10, they're hammering it back to 9.5. They'll take the 10 with USC. So I don't know that we're going to get much more than what you're seeing here. But ultimately, maybe the best way to look at this is the total, one way or the other, because it appears we're probably going to be getting a few points in this one.
How about a game that's going to kick off, Joe, Saturday at noon, a battle of the Miami Hurricane beaters here. Louisville taking on SMU in a line that had SMU over a field goal, Joe. Somehow it's 4.5, has now crept down to 2.5, still as a favorite for SMU at home. The total, which is up a little bit, that look ahead, 51.5 or so, 53.5 now in the marketplace. Louisville, SMU, and the ACC. What's your spread line here? 2 7-3 teams.
The best situational spot this week, Donnie, comes in this game here where SMU will have extra rest coming off a bye week, and Louisville is reeling. I mean, not only has to travel now back to Texas after back-to-back losses, but it's got to try to figure out how to I don't know how they lost that game, 20-19 at the hands of Clemson there. And now they've got, I believe, Kentucky next week, a rivalry game, of course, coming up, which is huge in the state of Kentucky between those two teams. Not good, but the look-ahead line in a lot of spots, Donnie, 3.5 for SMU, and we're under a field goal now. So there is a lot of Louisville love in the marketplace, thinking that this could be the opportunity for them to get back into it. Anybody who laid the 3.5 early with SMU, you're kind of scratching your head going, what is going on here? The spot favors SMU, but Louisville backed into a corner here with back-to-back losses. This is the spot of the week, Donnie.
Buffalo Bills on the road again for a Thursday night tilt, an AFC battle between Buffalo and Houston tonight. This line opened up as a look ahead, Joe, around 2.5. CJ Stroud's down. It's ballooned up to 6 at a lot of outlets, but a little bit of a buyback this morning, Joe. FanDuel and DraftKings both dropping to -5.5 now as a favorite for the Buffalo Bills. A total listed at 43.5. Allen versus Mills tonight. Your spread line here is what?
Well, you're right. I mean, we knew that the minute CJ Stroud was either, saying, hey, he's going or he's not going, there would be movement one way or the other. We thought if he was able to play and pass the concussion protocol, this line would have moved towards Houston, but that's not the case. And sure enough, now we're just under the key number of 7 here with 6. But the interesting thing here, Donnie, is how are we getting another field goal here, 6.5 points, but the total, Donnie, where it's still at 43.5, which is exactly what we opened. So we're not expecting any more points. We're just expecting Buffalo to win by more of them. This is a very tricky spot here. I don't know that I'd be running to the window with Buffalo, expecting a touchdown or more with that defense, but the total doesn't feel like we're getting anywhere near 44 points.
No, you're right about it. Like, honestly, 23-20 makes a lot of sense in that game, and it still stays under competitive game. We'll see how that turns out. College basketball, Braden Smith and the boys of Purdue are going to take on Memphis tonight. That game opened up around 2 touchdowns, Joe, and actually seeing improvement toward the line towards Purdue at minus 16.5 and a total of 158.5. College basketball, 6 p.m. on a Thursday. What's the options here on that spread line?
Yeah, in the Bahamas, Donnie, right? This is the time of year we get those holiday tournaments here. And, Purdue, number 1 in the country, has been absolutely boat racing teams. This is a big number on a neutral court. And Penny Hardaway in Memphis, they're not going to roll over here. I think there's some value with the dog.
Look at that, Penn, Purdue, and Memphis tonight. Better basketball games are lining up for feast week time. But let's feast on some NFL news and notes. Joe Burrow, what's the rush, brother? We'll talk about it next.
Goff and Mahomes were never taken serious. Hurts won't be even if they're the 1 seed. Jonathan Taylor plays running back. Stop. Mahomes lost the head-to-head to Josh. Can I confidently eliminate every single person booked behind Josh Allen to at least beat out Josh Allen? So I'm in a head-to-head with Stafford May?
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in 1-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, 1-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carden Show. Only on SportsGrid.
You need Justin Jefferson on that wall in the playoffs. Like, you got to go get him. He is still the man. I understand the JJ week last. I get it. It was ugly. There were a lot of spots where, where's he throwing that ball to? What's he doing? It'll be fine. Justin Jefferson's far too talented, and McCarthy will continue to figure it out. But it's the target volume you want. He gets double-digit targets every week. He is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL news and notes, people, on a Thursday. Yeah, we are going to get to the game tonight down in Houston between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. But before we get there, another AFC quarterback looking to make his return. And we say, for who, for what? As Ricky Waters used to say in the city of Philadelphia when he alligator arm passes when they were losing football games. Burrow, a full participant in practice. First time since the injury, Joe's 21-day practice window is now open. When they ask Coach, hey, man, you think you can play this week? He's like, whoa. Got to see some practices. But he's close to 100% now.
Listen, I of course, Joe Burrow wants to get back out on the field. I mean, who wouldn't? But I'd be watching very closely that offensive line in practice there, Joe, and ask yourself, do I really want to go out and take more hits here with it? Because once again, they're not going to protect you. And I'll say, Donnie, again, what did Flacco do? Flacco's putting up 30, 40 points a game, and your defense is giving up 50. So I'm not sure what the difference is here at this point. If you can't protect Burrow, he's your future, not Flacco. Going to be interesting to see what Zach Taylor, is he trying to save his job with Flacco? I don't know. I still think he's another guy that'll be fired by season's end.
By the way, also, like, Jamar Chase isn't playing this game. You're not bringing Joe Burrow back cold off the bench here without his top target. So they've always been looking forward to Thanksgiving weekend there as a chance to bring him back, which is probably what's going to happen. Full week of practice, make sure he's healthy, play him next week, full complement of weapons, and away you go here. Chris Boyd still recovering after being involved in a shooting. Positive news. I believe he's breathing on his own now here. As I like to say, Joe, nothing good happens after like midnight out there. So it looks like he is surviving and getting better, which is a good sign.
Yeah, I've been hammered that from my grandmother down every generation, right? Nothing good happens after 11 o'clock. It's, it's such an unfortunate situation. I don't think they've even arrested anybody yet. So hopefully he's on the road to recovery and we'll get back to the Jets sooner rather than later. That's for sure.
On the road to recovery is Michael Penix here. Another ACL reconstruction. I believe, Joe, his third of his career, I want to say at this point now. Not really a young quarterback based on wear and tear on that knee, and who's to say he doesn't come back next year and the same thing happens. When things repeat itself in the past, they probably happen again in the future. This is a tough look for Atlanta, but the one thing I do know is here, Raheem Morris will probably be looking to go back to a defensive coordinator somewhere across the NFL. They need a regime change. Your franchise quarterback down again, and also ACLs, you tear them, Joe, in November, you're probably not coming back till next November at the earliest either at this point. Tough scene.
But again, I mean, the good news is you don't have to worry about going out spending money on a backup quarterback because you have one. You have a $180 million one in Kirk Cousins at 36 years old, who is waiting in the wings. It's just awful. I mean, it really is. I mean, this is Penix's fifth season-ending injury in 8 seasons between college and the NFL, Donnie. And this was always the risk Atlanta should have known when they took him with that first pick.
It's almost like for a franchise, too. It's like you have no hope, Joe, right? You're just trying to get the people back involved. Penix is there. You got London at wideout, Bijan at tailback, and nothing ever works out for Atlanta here. And you can say the same for the Arizona Cardinals. Hey, eventually we'll get better. We got Kyler Murray. Oh, that doesn't work out. He's always injured. Now we have one of the best wide receivers coming out of college we've seen in the past decade, Marvin Harrison Jr. Didn't work out all that great last year. Injured this year. Appendixes. Now he's going to be ruled out for week 12. Trey Benson, though, he's back in his 21-day practice window. And they got their coach, Jonathan Gannon, going like, hey, I can't fire myself.
No, they can't. But do we really think he would have made a difference in beating the 40? No, the 49ers were actually going to run them over one way or the other. But listen, they are, to me, Donnie, continuing to be an over bet. So the more weapons you can get healthy, absolutely. I mean, I won't be looking at any unders in Arizona games from here on out.
Joe, by the way, do you know I'm big on TikTok right now? Started a TikTok account about a month ago, starting to learn some features on there. I did a video yesterday on Shedeur Sanders because I needed to get your input. And I know we talked over the commercial break. Shedeur Sanders is getting his first start. Yes, he's going to be better prepared than the week before because backup quarterbacks don't get first reps with the first team here. He's now getting them in a game plan that's going to be tailored exactly towards him. This is one of the worst defenses you're going to go up and play in the regulars. Look at Shedeur. 158.5 is his passing prop, Joe. But his passing attempts is 28.5. So we're expecting 29 pass attempts with 158 yards. Something ain't math in here to me.
I love it. The market is basically telling you what you're going to get here. There is going to be a lot of throws behind the line of scrimmage. There's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking here, Donnie, and none of it is going to matter because he likely won't have enough time to throw the ball deep anyway.
I got to tell you, like wide receiver throwing behind the line of scrimmage and behind wide receivers when they're wide open. That's what it sounds like to me. Let's get to the Thursday night football game tonight next.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said
earlier. He got hit behind the line of
scrimmage.
He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like you can't go join a rival tour. Like there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Calci.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Back on the early line, NFL action tonight from H-Town. That's the Buffalo Bills taking on the Houston Texans. There are major playoff implications for both ball clubs tonight. For the Buffalo Bills, they're looking to try to stay pace with the New England Patriots, who might have a layup victory this week against the Cincinnati Bengals, where they're favored by close to double digits. Houston just looking to hang around the race, not going to win the AFC South, but maybe in the wild card position. Davis Mills has started, Joe, the last 2 games and picked up victories here. He's going to start another game because C.J. Stroud is not ready to come back from a concussion. Looking at the total in this game, 43.5, down from 45.5, but a line that's racing from the look-ahead favorite for the Buffalo Bills at 2.5, now up to 5.5 and 6s at most outlets here, Joe. Let's start with the Buffalo Bills as the side here, favored by close to a touchdown. Smart or not smart, and you agreeing here with 78% of the public going like, oh, I like those Buffalo Bills minus the points tonight.
I like the Bills at -3. I don't know that I like them at -6. Just simply, again, Donnie, we talked about it in the spread line. You're talking about a game where we watch the spread double and the total go nowhere. I mean, this is a very key number in NFL totals, 43 here, 43.5. And if we are convinced that Houston's offense with Davis Mills, who, by the way, I mean, they've won, 3 of their last 4 games. They've won 2 in a row with him under center. And by the way, he's averaging 280, 285 yards passing a game. And it's not like this defense of the Bills is some sort of juggernaut where they're going to be able to limit his ability to be able to throw the ball. And we know Houston, that defense should be able to hold up well in this matchup here. But again, it's going to come down to who makes enough plays to win this game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I would much rather have the points with the home team on a short week than the road team in this spot. I think the Bills win, But my goodness, I'm not running to the window to lay 6. I think maybe the team total is the way to look. If you're not buying Houston's offense, then fade their team total here tonight.
Yeah, here's an interesting point in this game, too, as you take a look at it. Petrie's down in the secondary, one of the better cover defenders there. So that's going to help the Buffalo Bills. But when you say help the Buffalo Bills, they usually work inside out, right? The slot positions, clear Shakir. Same thing with Knox at tight end, who's a little bit older. And usually it's Kincaid doing most of the damage. Kincaid, Joe, as we know, down with a hamstring injury. He's not going to play, which then you lean more on Dawson Knox, more of an aging player. But the outside here, Keon Coleman, who was deactivated because he's sleeping through meetings and missing meetings and coming through late. Shaver's on the opposite side. Most people don't even know who the heck that guy is. Palmer trying to work his way back from an injury. This is an offense, Joe, that I don't think is going to be all that explosive, which I think feeds right into the belief of the 45.5 going down to the 43.5, because from both sides here, Buffalo's got a decent defense. You got some good wide receivers for the Houston Texans, but also the ground game for Houston. You know, Woody back there running. I mean, come on now. That guy's not going to be busting long runs. So for me, I think it plays right into both of these teams, usually sloppy anyway on a Thursday, two physical football teams. I do think we see a 23-20 style game in this one without pushing the football forward. But looking at Josh Allen, it seems like he's going to have to do it all once again for the Buffalo Bills, just like he did last week, Joe.
Well, you know, the good thing for Buffalo is that offensive line of Houston is terrible. So running the ball is going to be tough, I think, for the Texans one way or the other. And by the way, how far has Nick Chubb fallen? You see what his rushing number is? 20.5 yards. And he carries the Woody marks. Absolutely crazy. And by the way, if he can't get 20.5 yards against this Buffalo defense, I don't know what to tell you there, Nick Chubb. You might want to hang it up. But it's going to be. But keep an eye out. You know, Shavers had a touchdown last week, had no problem getting open against that secondary. And you know who else kind of changed the whole game there was having Gabe Davis back. A very reliable target of Josh Allen over the years. He was back, and he played a big role in that game as well. So, yeah, Josh Allen, this is the time of year where he usually drops it into another gear. He has that lull like they had, and now he has a game with 6 touchdowns. Now he goes on a road to a top defense. It's going to be a slugfest, but ultimately, you know Josh Allen's going to make, whether with his legs or with his arm, he's going to make enough plays to win this game for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, they keep on hanging these Davis Mills numbers in the low 200s, like as low as 205 to 215, depending where he's shopping out over the past couple weeks. He's 211 in this one. And if again, we like to use correlations. If the game plan is the Buffalo Bills are going to win, that means you're probably throwing in the second half. And also understand this. The way I think you attack the Buffalo Bills is not actually running the football. It's on the outsides. Their corners and safeties have been struggling this year. It's a dome. You don't have to worry about playing in Buffalo with 40-mile-an-hour winds. So I do think Davis Mills has a legitimate chance to go over the 211.5. But if we are looking, Joe, touchdown props tonight, it's no surprise, again, Josh Allen is the favorite at a minus 120 price point. James Cook, minus 115. Everybody else now at a plus money number. If you had to say, you know what, one player there, it is a scapegoat to say Josh Allen, but he probably does run one in.
I think so, absolutely correct. I think he is, even at minus, I could make the argument, Donnie, that that's actually cheap with Josh Allen, because if they get inside the red zone, which I'm sure they're going to at a couple opportunities, if James Cook ain't the answer, it's going to be Josh Allen. He's tough to stop, and they seem to have had your Eagles tush push situation down pretty well too. They've run it a couple of times now, and you know he's what 6'6". It's very hard to bring down here, so I like that number even at minus 120, 125.
Yeah, we were so surprised. 2 weeks ago, the Josh Allen tush push got 15 yards and he fumbled. It's like, oh my goodness, what was more crazy, getting 15 yards on a quarterback sneaker, actually fumbling the football at the end of the play. By the way, and I was expecting Keon Coleman to play. I didn't see this last night, and we'll bring up this graphic right now. Buffalo plans to bench Keon Coleman again on Thursday Night Football. Did he not understand the task at hand was, hey, my pro life is flashing before my eyes. You know, they benched me. I better put in some hard. But he's obviously doing the same things he did before the suspension. Looks like he's not going to go again tonight, Joe. They need all the help they can get at wide receiver, and he's down again.
Well, and I think that, you know, Gabe Davis and, you know, the kid, the Reshavers showed that you're not learning a whole lot, or you're not missing a whole lot with him. But don't forget, he was a head case at Florida State, too. So, I mean, the Bills were, you know, I didn't understand the draft pick, especially when Worthy was available. I didn't understand it at all with Buffalo, but They thought this kid was going to be, the answer for Josh Allen to replace Diggs, but he has been a head case since he was at Florida State.
Yeah, it's interesting because, again, you hope this kid would snap into it. He was supposed to be we got rid of Stephon Diggs. This guy's going to take control of the situation and handle his business, and he hasn't done that here. And that's why the Buffalo Bills at the trade deadline were desperate and were looking to possibly overpay for a wide receiver, but couldn't get that done either. So you're going to be relying on guys like Shavers down the stretch. Josh Allen's good. We'll see if he can make it happen here. And by the way, the AFC East, we talk about it. The Patriots were, I believe, minus 250 yesterday, Joe. Now down to minus 240, which isn't a big move, 10 cents there. The Bills at a plus 190 price. Do we think the Bills can catch the Patriots, or is it just the Bills looking to catch the Patriots once they get in the playoffs to beat them and move forward?
Well, there's no doubt the Patriots' schedule is certainly favorable, but they will have to take on the Bills another time here coming up, I think, in week 15. So, we haven't seen necessarily that letdown game from New England yet. The game there now, everyone's supposed to win, but they don't. And I think that game is still going to happen because I'm still not sure about the Buffalo game that they're going to be a favorite in that one. So I think Buffalo's got a shot, but now would be the time to back them, Donnie, because if they win this game and they win it easily, you ain't getting that number anymore.
Again, I love this race, which means if the AFC winner goes to the Patriots, they'll have home field advantage and would play Buffalo if they played them in the playoffs at home. But then you look at the odds to win the AFC, it's like, yeah, sure, the Buffalo Bills are going to win this thing, and the Patriots don't have any chance being priced at a 7-1. Those are the correlated markets, Joe, I love at this point here. And also, MVP. Look how close it is, too, between Drake May and Josh Allen. Woo, Patriots and the Bills down the stretch, Joe. Some fun.
Yes, down the stretch, except Stafford is going to win it hands down this year, and it's well-deserved, too, with the guy at 37 years old. But listen, it's going to come down to, all right, round one went to May. What is round two going to look like here in week 15?
What about round 3, 4, 5, and 6 with the Colts and the Chiefs? Let's get some weekend previews underway next.
Ashton Genty has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any player in the National Football League. Yep. So you just gave him the ball in the end zone. Do the math. How's that going to work out?
It's like what I said earlier.
He got hit behind the line of scrimmage. He got tackled in the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible. But the thing is, Brady, you draft offensive linemen before you draft a star running back. Like they went backwards.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
When I think of the European tour, these are the players I'm thinking of, right? So I understand why that they would be so frustrated by all this, but they also know that there are rules in place that, from a competitive standpoint, that if you're a member of this tour, like, you can't go join a rival tour. Like, there's rules in place, just like in any other business.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Green Bay area and the Philadelphia area, you would get it on ABC normally.
Yes.
But they didn't have ABC, so they couldn't get it locally.
Yeah, it just, you have to ask the question, like, nobody wants to hear from Bob Iger during the Monday night game when 10 million people are blacked out from watching the game, and you not ask him about when the blackout's going to end.
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Weekend warriors, people. That's what we are. We love college football. We love the NFL. We love to get the landscape cut out so we say, what exactly is going to happen? I'll tell you what's going to happen, Joe. 1 p.m. on Sunday, we got a good one in the AFC. It's the Indianapolis Colts. If the season ended today, right now in the AFC, they're the number 1 overall seed. They're going to take on Kansas City, who sits at 500. When that game was over last week, when the Kansas City Chiefs got beat by the Denver Broncos, I said, you can throw the haymaker of all haymakers next week and knock the Chiefs out of playoff contention by dropping them to 5-6, which would mean, Joe, just about every team they need to get over, every team has the tiebreaker against them, and they're under 500. But look at this line. Awful bye week. Indianapolis getting 3.5 points from the Kansas City Chiefs with a total of 49.5. I thought last week was the perfect situation to take the Chiefs. They embarrassed me. Do you jump back on the Chiefs this week? Because you look at this line and go, something's cooking there as a favorite at Arrowhead.
Well, again, with that look-ahead line being more, Donnie, it appears that finally, after a million years, the public is getting off of the Kansas City Chiefs bandwagon. Can you believe it, Donnie? I mean, it was for how long now? Didn't make a difference who the Chiefs were playing, what the line was. The public was always backing Andy Reid and Mahomes. And now, finally, we have a situation where the public's like, nope, not doing it anymore. And let me tell you another bit of news that flew under the radar this week for the Colts. They did activate Charvarius Ward now. He's now been cleared, and he will be back on the field in that secondary. Now, what have they done since he's gone? Oh, well, we're talking about a shutdown corner here from the 49ers, and the Chiefs know him all too well, Donnie. Now he's with the Colts, and they went out and got Sauce Gardner in the meantime. So now that's secondary of the Colts with Ward and Sauce Gardner, and you got Kenny Moore back there. I mean, Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, has got to be, just celebrating right now what he's got to work with in the back end, which is going to make life very difficult for Kansas City, even at home. And nobody knows Ward better than Kansas City since he played there.
Seems like that's the only good game of 1 o'clock, and there's one good game at 4 o'clock, which we'll get to just a little bit later. But the Vikings and the Packers could be a good game at 1 o'clock. Joe, Green Bay at home. We don't know if Josh Jacobs is going to be the starting running back, banged up a little bit in his knee, and that with victory, I should say, against the New York Giants. McCarthy looked absolutely terrible outside of one drive, which gave them the league. But then a huge kick return and a field goal late gave the Bears the victory. The reeling Minnesota Vikings getting 6.5 from Green Bay, Joe. But I got to tell you, even though they're the public, dog, which you never like to see, I am feeling Minnesota with the 6.5 right now. I just don't think Green Bay is all that explosive on offense.
Well, we know they're not, Donnie, and we know exactly what this Minnesota defense can bring to the table. And it's not like Lambeau has been a great comfort to Green Bay, Donnie. The last 2 games they've played at home, they lost as favorites, big favorites, and they haven't been able to get it done here. So, Kevin O'Connell, pretty good coach here in this one, too, as well. So the big question to me is whether or not we can trust McCarthy to make enough big plays to maybe get it done on the road. But I think it's going to have to be the Vikings defense that's going to have to give them a chance to do it, maybe on the ground, Donnie, more than anything else, because look at what the Giants did to that vaunted defense on the ground. That offensive line pushed a what felt like gassed defensive front of the Green Bay Packers last week. I think the under might be the best look of the week in this game.
I got to tell you, next game up here, Joe. And look, I always like to say I am the most unbiased professional handicapper on this network, Joe, because I love my Philadelphia Eagles. I love the Sixers. I love the Flyers. I love everything that comes out of Philadelphia, including the Philadelphia Phillies when they let me down. Eagles are on the road this weekend, Joe. -3s, -3.5s in the landscape. Cowboys look good against the Raiders, but again, the Raiders are bad. You don't want to take too much away from that. The Eagles defense has been absolutely incredible, but I look at this number and I say, all right, the Philadelphia Eagles on offense, on the road, they're going to be down 2 offensive linemen this weekend. Cam Jurgens probably not playing, and Lane Johnson, we know, is down at least 4 to 6 weeks. So they're down 2 of their best offensive linemen here, which means the right side of that line is going to be kind of weak. The running game hasn't worked out all that well because they can't block for the running game. Now you're down 2 starters, maybe the best right tackle in football. The passing game should be okay, but again, how much time are you going to have back in the pocket with that revamped defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys? I am rooting for the Eagles. The Eagles should win this game. They're favored to do it. But I have to tell you, I like the Cowboys getting the points, Joe. I just do.
Well, Donnie, listen, if you like trends, here's two of them for you.
Yeah.
You know, they've won 3 games in a row, the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the last time they've won 4 straight games, Donnie?
Last year?
2000 to 2002. That was the last time they rattled off 6. Yeah. No, your Eagles have not won 4 straight games since 2000 and 2002 when they rattled off 6 straights back in the day. That's amazing to me.
They were 10-1 to open up the season at one point 2 years ago. They had to win 4 in a row.
Against the Cowboys. Against the Cowboys. Against the Cowboys. They have not won 4 straight against the Cowboys. Yes, against the Cowboys. They have not done that and dominated the Cowboys. And I'll tell you the reason why. Dak Prescott. That's why. Because Dak Prescott, for all of his faults, owns and I don't know why this is. He owns the NFC East. He's 31-13 against the NFC East. And when he's a home dog, Donnie, it's even his record's even crazy. He can't beat anybody else, but he has been able to cash tickets as against the NFC East. And I can't figure it out. I really can't figure out what that reason is.
And, he does have success. He's a good regular season quarterback. There's no question about that. They're healthy now at this point, which means 2 really good wide receivers. The running game with Williams has been very good as of late and for the season itself. If he gets protection, they will move the football. And again, the Eagles have a great defense, a great secondary, great linebackers, and a great front line. But I'm not worried about the Eagles' defense. I'm just worried about their offense. You just need to compete. You're not going to be able to hide behind it's really cold temperatures will hold this team down. You're in a dome. You better perform. And maybe they will. And they're favored to do so. And they're a good football team. I just get a little bit nervous, Joe, when I look at this actual line and say, I would not be surprised. Like if we're getting a 24-21, 27-24, either way at this point, I don't think either one of these teams will be a double-digit victory, which means a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter makes a lot of sense. So a good game to watch there. Good one at 1 o'clock, Indianapolis, Kansas City. Good one at 4 o'clock with Philadelphia and Dallas as we continue to roll along. Joe, we're going to get into some basketball action next. Yeah, we love the NFL. Yeah, we love college football. We also love it on the hard court as well. We'll be right back. It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight when Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
College basketball going on last night. We had a couple big name games across the horizon, Joe, for Wednesday. And one of those games was Arizona and UConn. Number 4 in the country versus number 3 in the country. And Arizona came away with the victory, 71-67. Pete with 16 points and 12 boards for Arizona. And away they went in a victory. Good game, close game. Yes, UConn was down with key component there, but Arizona got the victory, man. That's pretty impressive.
On the road in stores is, yes, very, very impressive, especially when they came off a loss here. But, yeah, they had a late scratch for UConn with one of their leading scorer was a late scratch there, Reed, prior to that game. And we saw, I think that closed, Donnie. It was up as high as UConn -7.5 yesterday. And I think it closed somewhere around 4.5 once the kid was scratched. And yeah, they missed him down the stretch. Great effort, great game by Arizona, who I told you after that first game, watching them against Florida, this team is no joke here. And yeah, they to travel to stores and to do what they did against UConn was pretty darn impressive.
35 minutes and 28 points in the Association last night. Who was that for? Well, that was Jalen Brunson coming back for a Knicks victory, 113-111 over the Dallas Mavericks, their first road win of the season against the depleted Dallas Mavericks team. I guess it's good to win, but 2-point win over those Mavs. And boy, what are the Mavs doing this year? Whew.
Yeah, another monster reaction, right, in the markets yesterday when we learned that Cooper Flagg wasn't going to be playing and Brunson was coming back. And then all of a sudden, I think this line got up to double digits at one point there, Donnie. And it was, by the hair on their chin. Dallas, very gutsy by them last night. D'Angelo Russell, Najee Marshall led the way. And, unfortunately, Dallas is going through it right now. They got to figure out what to do with Anthony Davis. And they got to get Cooper Flagg surrounded by some guys that compliment him. Otherwise, boy, Jason Kidd's going to wish he took that New York Knicks job.
By the way, how about this? Mikal Bridges hasn't missed a game in his NBA career. 8 seasons and playing every game, Joe. The best ability is what? Availability. That's a pretty impressive streak right there, by the way. Goodness. Man.
Given what we know about the NBA and load management, Donnie, like we talked about, that is better than Cal Ripken Jr., Lou Gehrig. That is impressive in this generation of the NBA.
Hey, Zion's back. He played 29 minutes, scored 14 points, and yet again, the New Orleans Pelicans got hammered. The Denver Nuggets, 125-118. The Pelicans dropped to 2-13 on the season, 1-7 at home, have already fired their head coach. Just please get Zion out of town. As a matter of fact, put a for sale sign on the Smoothie Center in New Orleans. Just sell it, lose the team. Don't worry about it anymore. It just doesn't work in New Orleans. I'm sorry, Joe. Basketball doesn't work in New Orleans. It doesn't.
It doesn't, but Nani, good teams win, great teams cover. They did get the cover last night there against Denver. Man. But how about Jokic? 28, 12, and 11. Another triple-double there for the big man. Guy is he's an absolute machine. And now they have depth behind him, Donnie, which means he's going to be fresher as the season goes along. Could be an epic year for him.
Could be. How about in Orlando, the home of Disney tonight? The Los Angeles Clippers take on the Orlando Magic. This line opened up at 5, still sitting at 5.5, depending on where you're shopping at today. And a total of 218.5. What happened to the scoring, Joe? We like to see the 240-plus market out here.
Yeah, well, the Magic realized, what in the world are we doing here, trying to chuck up as many shots as humanly possible? Yeah. No. Let's slow it down. Let's going back to being a very physical team, which is exactly what they've done, Donnie, and here we go. Now, we already know the Clippers play at one of the slowest paces in the NBA, and they have no choice, really, now with the injuries they have. No Kawhi Leonard and company, so Harden is forced to take the bulk of the shots here. But this is not a great matchup for the Clippers. Look for the Magic once again to hold serve at home.
How about this? Oh, no, back-to-back for the Philadelphia 76ers. There's no way they can win and or be favored, but they are. They're actually favored over the Milwaukee Bucks by as many as 2.5 points now in the marketplace. Why? Because Giannis is not going to play. The Philadelphia 76ers go on the road, and being unbiased, do I think the Bucks win? No, I don't. I actually think the 76ers win this game. Thought they lost last night, and they did. Sixers bounce back with a win tonight, Joe. How you feeling about this one?
Well, you should have Embiid and Paul George back for this one, right? So now you should have a little more depth here and ready to go against a depleted Bucks team that really was being carried by Giannis. And we already know Giannis not available to them tonight, so I'm with you.
Yeah, tough scene across there, but that's the NBA. That's a little pick-me-up in college basketball. As we head into hour number 2, more fun on the highlights from Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside right here on the Early Line on the Sports Grid Network, people. We'll be right back.